That's great. All right, cool. Yo, thank you so much for stopping on by. I know it's late on a Saturday. I hope that your Saturday is going well. I know you've been working, getting into a whole bunch of new stuff. You just got a new song. We're gonna talk about that later. So hopefully, your Saturday was relaxing, so you can come in and drop these gems for us. So I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. And just to get into, just so everyone knows, we got our amazing, amazing guest today on Kicking It with Kachi, where we highlight individuals who are really taking the industry by storm. I don't really like to call them newcomers or rising people because I feel like these are just people that a majority of people are getting privy to how dope that they are. You know what I'm saying? Like these are always dope individuals, but now they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, making strides, not just for themselves, but as we're probably going to talk about as well, a whole community of individuals, really a whole movement of individuals inspired by music like yours and music that is yours um, into the industry. So today we have the honor and distinguish to sit with devRAB. Did I say your name correctly?
devRAB. It's more.
devRAB. Thank you
Yeah.
for preparing. Yeah, I'm Nigerian, so I'm always trying to like make sure like I can pronounce people's names correctly because I was always that kid where teachers came to my name and was like, oh, okay, excuse me if I butcher this. Right. So I'm always trying to make so devRAB.
Yeah. It's all right.
Thank you,
People always
thank
get it
you.
wrong too, so it's okay.
Well, I guess that just makes it easier for them to get to know you even more.
I'm not against that.
Right, right. So I kind of do want to get first into like where the name came from and how you developed this persona of devRAB.
So I'm a South Indian artist. With that, when I was first starting music, trying to find a cool name that's unique and individual, I was mainly just trying to find something that was unique to me and who I was. As a kid growing up, I didn't really like fully, embrace being Indian
Right, right,
like I have recently. I think I've come in, I've accepted it more. I'm more proud of who I am now instead of like
right,
as a kid growing up, things, people just ruthless people out here. So,
right, right.
I'm more comfortable with it now and I wanted to pay a little homage to it. So I was bouncing ideas off with my homie and we came up with a few and then, uh, I found the dev part. Dev just means God. It means God in Indian.
Oh, nice, nice.
So we basically took that, and then Rab is just Rob with a Boston accent that we just slapped that on the end, and then we kind of mishmashed it.
So where does it why the Boston like Rab with a Boston accent? Right? Is your name Rob? Is that where it came from?
Yeah, my real name is Rob, but when I started making music, my family moved to Boston, so and I was in school in New York at the time, so back and forth. And then my friends were here, and they were like, "Oh, why don't we just do this?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't. I At the beginning of making music, I didn't think it was going to turn into what it has become."
Right, right.
So I was like, yeah, why not? Like, it's cool, it's unique. Like, let's run with it, see what we could do.
Right, right. And I was gonna say like with the idea of um coming from your background South Indian and as I think having immigrant family is very easy to kind of empathize with that same situation where it's like it's easier to assimilate or on a nickname or just act a lot more American in a sense. So it's good to hear a lot of us are getting back and stuff into our cultures. And they in your Instagram bio, you do say not the first brown boy to get it popping, right?
Yep.
So how has hip hop sort of now influenced you, but you also like to maintain that identity of that brown boy from Queens?
I don't like to claim being the first one to do it because there
Right,
are
right,
people who are on before me, like
right,
Nav, like Jay Sean back in like 08, 09 was
right,
going
right, right,
crazy. And like, even then, like music in India as a whole, I'm not the first one to do it by any means, but there's got to be a future generation of people that can carry it and
right.
inspire other people to do it. So I just hope I can be part of the next wave that
And I was
can.
gonna say, how does it feel to sort of, I mean, you don't have to hope. You're already part of the next wave. You already got 100K streams on Spotify, doing shows in DC and New York the next day. Like you're already part of the wave. There's no hope
It's
anymore.
That's just a lot of hard work there, but it's I didn't really hit me till this year because borderline last year I was getting ready to quit making music. I was already
Really?
quit. Yeah, and then I was like yeah, I went through a bunch of stuff personally, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put my head down and work at this next year and go crazy and see, like see what becomes of it.
Right, right,
2 deals later, here we are, and we're just, I do shows in random places that people didn't know my name before. Like, you're gonna go to places that people aren't gonna know who you are, and it's
right,
fine
exactly.
because it's part of that whole who is this moment that it's like it's
Right,
a
right,
fleeting
right,
moment for artists. And I go to these random places, it's like, and random people are like, yo, like it's so cool that you're a brown kid, like you're putting
right,
on,
right,
like
right,
brown kids and the artists come up to me, random people. I don't owe them, they don't owe me anything. I don't owe them anything
right,
either.
right, right,
Like, yo, you're putting on for us. Like, it's so nice to see like you out there killing it. Like you, like we have you now. Like we support you. And I'm like,
right,
yo, like,
right, right.
I wasn't anything I envisioned of any magnitude.
Really. And I mean, it's interesting because you've been making music, but I think you said recently of May of this year, you decided to professionally start just doing music. So where was it before where you were still doing your 9 to 5 most likely, and then you were still putting and investing into this craft? So why was the switch? Was like, honestly, I'm done with my job. Let's just go all into music, eggs in one basket, so to speak.
I
And
was
also,
working.
how did your parents react? Because I know immigrant parents is not the easiest thing to kind of
Uh,
translate over the dinner table.
so I'll answer the second part of that question first. So when I first started making music, it was very like I was like, oh, like I'm gonna go to the studio, I'm gonna do
Right,
this.
right,
My parents were like, just don't drop out of college.
right, right,
They're like, as long as like, and so like, it's like as long as you want to do it, like as long as you can. My parents' number one rule is like, if you can pay for it yourself,
right, right,
we're not gonna like hover over you and be like, no, you can't do this, because like I'd work, retail, customer service, do all this stuff.
right. You're doing your own
Well,
thing, exactly.
yeah, just save up enough money to do, and then just buy Beatles and go to the
Right.
studio and make. I wasn't making. I mean, at the time, I thought each song was the greatest thing ever. But I was like, "Yo, mom, come check this." It was like they supported the dream for what it was until I showed them some tangible success, and I was
Right,
like,
right,
it's not just a fluke. Like I'm capable of doing this if I
right,
really want to.
right, right.
And so that's how my parents took it. What was the first part of that question again?
Um, I was gonna say, what made you decide to just sort of like put all your eggs in one basket and like quit your job, whatever sort of like what were you doing actually before you decided to do music professionally? Let's start there.
I was working corporate security.
Really nice.
So I was just, I was grinding 40 hours a week, just doing that. And I was still doing music on the side. Like I was making my best music, but I realized I was like, one, my job made me miserable. Like it was just,
Right, right,
like it wasn't like I wasn't going to be there forever, but I realized I was like, look, I was like, I need to, like, taking a leap of faith. I was like, I need to
right,
do
right,
that. And I was like, like either I'm going to be working at this desk job for the rest of my life, or I can go make something happen right now.
right, right.
And I had a meeting with the former manager of Tory Lanez,
Nice.
and he was basically just telling me, he was like, there's no a better time to do it than now. You have enough momentum and everything behind you. He heard my unreleased and thought it was very good,
Right.
and said, not, like if anything you take away from our meeting, like this is your leap of faith. Like go, like just do that. And the things worked out in my life where I was like, okay, I had a plan, but sometimes you roll with punches, and
Right, right. And I was gonna
a
say
lot of
like,
stuff happened where I was, my job did not want me like that.
yeah,
And I was like, you know what? I quit on a Friday, and I was like, I'm gonna go all in on this.
nice. And I was gonna say like, actually, what is the plan to go all in on something so honestly hectic and up in the air as doing music professionally? Like, what you quit your job on Friday, so now on Saturday, what's the first plan of action?
Saturday was more just like just kind of being, like coming to terms with everything,
Right,
just being like, all right, I got all this time, like what's next? And then I was like,
right, right.
I'm just gonna focus on the next thing in front of me. I don't get too focused. I used to be like, oh, I want to do this, this, and
Like
this,
big
like
picture
angle.
sort of thing, too big picture.
I was thinking too big at the
Right,
time.
exactly.
And I was like, like, let me just focus on the next step in front of me.
Right.
I already had a plan for music, but I was like, let me just really make sure this plan is airtight.
Mm-hmm.
So like, like let me just put all detail into this. And I did. And I just made sure that plan was like almost foolproof to the point where, I could just I'm so organized and everything that like my next step is taken care of. My next few steps taken.
Right, right.
So that part, like when I think of these bigger goals, it will get me there, but it's not like it's a bunch of small W's stacking up to get
Right,
to
right.
instead of just one leap after one leap.
And I was gonna say, like now in getting that plan, right, that you have created for yourself, how do you then incorporate said plan with now you have this amazing graphic designer that you work with that does some apparel for you as well, does your graphics promo for you, and as well as your management team that you're now finding, like how does it sort of translate into building not just devRAB's vision, but now a whole collective vision?
My uncle told me a while ago, he was like, luck is just when preparation meets opportunity.
Right. Yeah.
And like doing your own thing, like no one's gonna take a chance on you in the music industry if you're not self-sufficient in some.
Coming with some there. Right.
Exactly. So, I did enough of this on my own where I could, I was doing things and things were going well. But to the point where other people start to notice and take interest and they're like, hey, we believe in what you're doing, like
Right.
we think we can help take you to the next level. And, that's just confidence that they see in
Right.
your
I was gonna
work
say, does
ethic.
that sort of boost your confidence as well when you have these individuals who you also find to be massively talented look at your stuff and say, "Hey, I believe in you enough to help see your vision through, help you with the pieces that they can help you with."
It's a lot of it, but it's also like being a musician too. There's a lot of imposter syndrome, like a lot of feeling like you
Right. Right.
belong.
Right. Right.
Then like you like at the end of the day, like you got to take a step back, take a deep breath, and then like just think, okay, I'm in this situation. It didn't just fall into my lap. Like this was like 3.5 years of doubt, hard work, and
Right. Right.
a
Right.
lot of nights that no one really see. They only see the end product that comes out, every song,
Right.
project, whatever. But it's a lot of convincing myself that I do belong here, and the things that I do is because of how hard I worked.
Right. And now that you've worked to the point where you're opening on these big stages at these amazing festivals and shows, how does it feel to does it sort of feel like when you open up to these concerts, like it's kind of like this is my shot, like like when you play sports and it's like I don't know about you, but I wasn't the best soccer player when I was growing up, but coach put me at the end of the game. We were down by one, right? He said, honestly, man, it's like a minute left, just go and play what happens, right? You're the wackest kid on the field, but you get a chance, right? This is sort of not the wackest artist, but the newest one, like the guy that, like you said, you go to shows, no one knows your name. Does it sort of feel like this is your moment every single time that you now are opening these shows and getting into these venues?
Yeah, it does because like even when I was doing shows back in college, and like I only had 6 songs that were out to the public,
Right,
but
right, right,
I was doing like an hour and a half set, and I was like, yo, like this is crazy that we packed out these bars and whatever. And it's like, I just want to go out there, like regardless of what there's 8 people, there's 2 people, or there's 250. Like someone out there is going to find me for the first time, and they're going to be exposed to who I am and what I've been doing.
right,
So like, I have to. It's like Kobe said it once. He's like, someone I play almost every night because someone might come to see me play for the first time, and
right,
I might
right,
make them a fan for life. So like, if
right,
I show you on a stage that I can give you all my energy, all like for even 10, 15 minutes, but like I'm giving you everything I got, then like like makes it easier to root for. I
yeah,
gotta show
yeah.
people who are just finding me.
Yeah, yeah. And I was gonna say, like, now that you dropped this EP, Misfit, right? I feel like also as you go through your comments and go through like the flowers you have, it's a lot of who cares about fitting in, right? It's a whole lot of this rebellious, anarchist, really youthful energy that is backing your music and following your music, right? Do you feel as if that's the type of people that you make your music for? Like whether it's 8 people in a crowd or 20 people or even one person, that connection of saying, hey, we may not be seen, but we see each other.
Yeah, I was also at a place in my life where I didn't feel like I fit in places.
Really? Yeah.
I felt excluded. And, it's hard being a personality, but also I'm also human. And
Right,
places,
right.
you don't
Yeah.
feel like you belong. So I was like, I the best type of music to me is the things that I can listen to in my spare time. And I'm like, yo, like I really relate to that bar.
Right. Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
sure, it's not some cool shit. It could be cool, but it's like I like this is something that hits me. I'm like I'm
Right.
with this, and it's why like I made the project because there are people out there who can 100% relate to what I was going through, and
Yeah, right.
it got heard enough. The project got heard enough, so I was just happy that it was well received in the first place.
I was gonna say, like, I was gonna say this song, Take My Hand, right? And also, I was listening to Dancing on My Own, and I'm listening to your style, and I'm listening to the music, and I'm like, I feel like you ever like you're going for a long drive, like, yo, the music feels like it's the soundtrack to what you're doing. It's the score of whatever activity that you're doing. It sounded very relaxing, very calming, as you say, very relatable, right? It felt like as you said, the music is narrating my emotions for me because I don't have the words as you do eloquently to put it to music and melody. So I definitely resonate with that a lot. And
I'm really glad about that. Thank you.
no, no problem, no problem. And like going from Misfit, you just go straight into. So talk to me about like these amazing shows that you're doing in DC, back in New York. You just had a recent show in New York not too long ago, actually.
I
So
just did the Summer of Revenge tour with Big Baby
yeah,
Gucci. We did Baby's All Right in Brooklyn.
nice. How talk to me about like how is it getting these calls, getting in these rooms, getting to these venues, being on these
It
stages?
was just it started back when I did the DC show back in March, and then I built connections there. It's just a genuine energy that you go around, you meet these people, put your best foot forward, and then you hope it can. You don't stay like too distant, but you keep talking to people, just like not on some just I could use you, you could use me. Just
Right.
you want to just build a
Collaboration.
connection, and
Yeah.
it grew to a good relationship where the promoters for the show were they're like, oh hey, we're in the city, like, can you do it? And I was like, New York, I could, yeah,
Right, right,
I'm bringing out the people,
right,
I got my family coming out,
right. Yeah.
like that's it was like it was my first time performing in New York since before the pandemic, actually.
Wow.
Actually, no, that's a lie. I did one back in July.
Okay, okay.
But like before then, this was like a major stage. Like that
Right,
one in
exactly.
July was
Yeah.
kind of a it was like a smaller show, but this one was a bigger venue. Like I had so much family come to see me finally for the first time, and
Wow.
it was just one big coming home party for me. Like my sister got to see me live for the first time. It was
Wow.
crazy.
Nah, that's what you call being blessed for real. I'm glad that's beautiful, man. That's great.
Thank you.
Nah, that's good. So, what sort of things can we look forward to coming out? Right, you just dropped this new song, right? This past yesterday, actually, right? So, where's the process in that came into now going from this misfit trying to fit in personality to somewhat more of like a club hit, dance song, party vibe, things like that. Do you feel like switching gears is with something around the time, or just something that you just feel like a little bit more upbeat type of music?
Like you said earlier, when you were like listening to my music and it felt like it was narrating everything for you. Like
Right, right.
everything that I make is an accurate depiction of what I'm going through in my life. And like I got that angst out with Misfit. Like it's a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
there's a lot of like, I could still get off on the rage sound and everything,
Right, right.
but there are some things I want to revisit before, like the song Up Now off that last project.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like that one is hard regardless. And
Yeah.
I'm just working on my next project right now. It's probably gonna be coming out early next year. Looking to do that. And I got a couple more projects on the way we're still working on, but
Right.
we're really just curating that sound for the next project with I want to revisit the old sounds a little bit that I tried to do when I was first starting, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's a more refined I'm more refined now when it comes to that, so
Right.
I can make a more cohesive project of I'm like a weekend star boy, or like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Travis
yeah.
Astro World, or like
Okay.
I can give you the hits like Drake gives hits, you know, like I
Right.
want
I was gonna say as well, you do get into the little bit of a dance hall vibe with that dancing by myself. Like it was when I first heard it, I love because I'm Nigerian, but I'm from New York. You're from New York, you understand that like you I go to the store, I speak Arabic, but then I go to the barbershop, I might speak a little Spanish, but then I
right.
might go up the street, I might speak a little Patois, right? And I go home and I'm speaking my Nigerian Igbo. Like it's such a blend of different cultures. So when you go back home, how does it sort of feel to now bring out a new genre and adding it to the culture of New York City? Because you started off with this Kings of New York EP that I love, by the way, but like you said, now you're a lot more refined. Like that was a lot more raw, youthful energy, and now you're more refined, cohesive, polished. Do you want to revisit some of that also in terms of getting into that New York style mixtape ish?
I don't know if I want to call it a New York style mixtape
Yeah,
because I like taking sounds from all over,
right,
whether it's like, it's very like upbeat stuff, but I love singing and I love ballads. So I
right.
like calm R&B or like other stuff. I'm trying to take everything that I listen to on a given day and did what I started, but I want to just add all those new elements in. And then I want to just basically try and create a newer genre that I can just blend all my favorite things into one.
Mm-hmm.
And really just, people think New York, it's very like hard hitting, gritty,
Right, exactly.
drill.
Yeah, right, right.
I mean, sure, some of those aspects might be on this project, but like if I bring in a vibe from like, oh, a Houston vibe or like a
Right, right,
LA,
right, right, right.
like a Drakeo the Ruler type of like a West
Right,
Coast
exactly. Like
type of
chopped and
sound.
screw type of vibe. Right,
So you don't have to just be in New York to really enjoy it. You can go anywhere. You can be in nicer weather and be like, oh, like I want to pop my shit a little bit.
right,
Like it's still colder, but I want to feel tough. Like
right,
you can be
right.
anywhere, and it's not gonna impact how you listen to it.
All right, all right. And I love getting into this part of the conversation because we get real comfortable, we get real deep. So now I can get into my lightning questions so I can get to know you a little bit nitpicky and hopefully, whoever watches this, maybe it's Christmas coming up, so maybe you got a wish list. Whoever's watching this later can get you what you like or whatever have you.
I got you.
All right. So first, I know you're South Indian, and whoever comes to my show knows I love food. So can you put me on to your favorite South Indian dish?
I'll give you two. The most popular, I'm gonna give you the regular naan and chicken tikka masala.
Okay, okay.
I'll give you that with a side of I like lamb. So lamb vindaloo, it's a little bit
Yeah, I
spicy.
love lamb. Yes.
So you mix it all up, that's great. But then I
Okay.
do this thing, it's very popular in Queens. My grandmother also makes like the best one. So it's like rice, beef, fish. It's like fried beef. So fish fry with a little bit of like little gravy on there,
Okay,
two
okay.
sides of vegetables. You mix that all together. Oh my God, you're stuffed for a day.
Oh, she got okay, okay. I'm seeing it's a lot of flavors and textures. You know how to cook?
Yeah, I know how to cook a little bit. A little
Okay,
bit.
okay. I feel like it's so bad. So I'm like, dang, my whole life I hated being African, but now that I'm 24, I want some African food and I can't make it. It's terrible.
I'm learning how to do it. I'm not there yet. I'm not an OG.
I'm learning. I'm learning too. I'm learning too. So now coming back to where you've been raised, do you have any Queens icons that you look up to?
50 Cent. I love 50. Anik Khan is another one out of Queens right now.
Mm-hmm,
South
mm-hmm.
Side, I think. He's a brown artist doing it big. Um, so he's as much as like the music stuff is like he's got a really cool sound too. Who else is from Queens? Shit. This put me on the spot. Uh, I don't
You want
know.
to go to
Just
the number one?
who?
Nasty Nas? You what?
Listen, I'm a big.
What?
If I'm going that kind of route, I'm going Biggie. I'm going Wu Tang. I'm not
Okay,
like
okay, okay,
there is
okay.
some Nas in that mix, but it's not
Right,
the top
right.
of my.
It's
It's not the
not
top of my
50. It's
list.
not 50, right.
It's I'm gonna get killed for that. People are gonna hate me. Yo, you taking 50 over Nas? I was like, yo, many
I
men. I
mean,
think
many men in this club, like, it's window. Hey, I
50
know.
is this.
Because Nas dropped the last album, but I was defending Nas to the death of me this past weekend because my friends was like, who listens to Nas anymore? And I'm like, nah, he's the greatest rapper alive, but no one really be listening to Nas no more. I can't lie about it. All
Nah,
right, so
not great.
nah, he's the greatest rapper of all time. Like that is indisputable. He's just not for the kids anymore, you know?
It's a different sound.
Right. Speaking of sounds, what is your favorite devRAB song?
Ooh,
I'll give you two. I'll give you two. Not
my
three, two.
my favorite one.
Yeah.
Fuck. I gotta say Up Now featuring Kevin Powers.
Yeah, that's a fire one. Yeah.
And I'll give you oh fuck. This is tough. I gotta say Summer Love with Drama is another one. That's
Okay.
another song that did a lot of things for me.
Yeah. Okay. Can I tell you what my favorite ones are?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so my favorite ones are obviously, like I said, um, dancing on my own. That's a vibe. That's a big vibe. And I do like the King of Queens night. I like that song a lot.
I only got
That's
a
why I
verse.
talked about
I
that
only
song.
got a verse off on that. I wish I got more on it,
I
but
really like that. I really like that 3 song EP. I'm not gonna lie. That one's nice.
yeah, that was a good one. That was one of my favorites.
So where's been your favorite place to perform?
Uh, Nothing. You can't go wrong with being in New York. I've done New York, Boston, DC, probably New York. Like the
Okay.
energy's always there. Like I have enough family and friends that come out and support, and it's just a great time. Like the feeling that I have, like I legit feel like the man in my city. Like
Yeah. Yeah. It feels so
I
great.
like
Right.
I feel like,
Exactly.
and then when people like, oh, like people like kind of like they look at you a little bit different way when you
Right.
move,
Right. Exactly.
because
Yeah.
like yeah, it's not just like a kid going to college doing whatever, like
Right.
doing stuff that some people just don't do. So they look at you a
Right.
little
Right.
differently. It's cool.
Nah, it's cool. So, what is one passion or hobby that you have that people don't generally know that you like to do?
Mm, I'll give you two. I like to game.
Oh, like video game? What games do you play?
Yeah. Like me and my friends, we play a lot of Fortnite, a lot of it. I
Nice.
tell people that my little cousins are like, you play that?
You still play
I'm with
Fortnite?
you. I was like, yo, hop off. Like, we have fun. And
Right.
then I like to write in my free time, like journaling. Like
Yeah,
journaling is
yeah.
another one. Like, it's kind of just letting my head go wherever.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
those are probably my two. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So to end off the interview, I always like to acknowledge that this will be posted and shared and digitally seen by other people who may also be going through aspirations or in the middle, beginning, or close to the apex of their career journey or whatever have you. So, what are 3 lessons that you learned in your journey that you would want to impart to somebody else?
The first lesson, first and foremost, is believe in yourself. Like if you think you could genuinely do something, don't let anyone tell you can't do that. Like if they're projecting that onto you, that means they had something in their life that they could not accomplish, and that should not affect. Like if you care so deeply about something, like you go out and you like, no, I need to be doing that instead. Like if you think that passionately about something and it keeps you awake at night, like you gotta try at least, because
Right,
if you can't try, you're gonna be sitting there with regret.
right,
It's one. Two is uh you have to be your own biggest fan. That's another thing. Like if we're creatively doing anything, you can't ask 10, 5, 10, 15 people, let alone like 10,000, 50,000 to support you if you don't have your own genuine support.
right,
If you don't believe you're, truly one of the best things, then it's a hard sell to sell to other people that that you're not meant to be here. That's a lot of
right.
no. And I guess the third thing is be careful of the company you keep around. It certainly can affect where your trajectory of your life goes.
Right, right,
Uh, you have to look at yourself and be like, oh, I want to do this and bring all my friends. But on these creative journeys we all go through, I personally have just experienced as you like the lack of loss of friends and people just wanting things, and it's a different lifestyle. So you have to make sure you have your own back when you go through it. because a lot of people are not in it for the same reasons as you.
Right,
So
right.
at the end of the day, like they might want something, but they're just depending on you. So make sure you got your own back, and just be very careful of the people you keep around.
Nah, that's great. That's great. And that's honestly a great note to end it on. devRAB, thank you so much for stopping by. Like I said, on a Saturday when you definitely could have been getting much needed rest after so much success. But thank you. I appreciate you for stepping by and really having a dope conversation with me, man.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it a lot.
Now, of course, and thank everyone that's gonna be watching this later on in Kicking It with Kachi, part of the DC Voice, where we highlight individuals that are really taking the industry by storm. Every Sunday at 7 p.m. we have our live show. Every Wednesday we're posting our pre-recorded show. I'm gonna see you guys on Sunday and next time with another amazing guest. Thanks, guys.